than anybody else. So yes, we will do it.
I want you to repeat that side again. You said in 2016,
yes.
President Mama give citizens citizenship to 34. Is it 34?
It was 34 at the time.
34 at that time.
Yes.
And he wanted to repeat that side again.
Yeah. So okay. So there was some advocacy in terms of we lobbied the government to give us citizenship rights because a number of us were already living here for years, like it's something 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, 15 years. And so he agreed, and he saw it in his wisdom to do that. And he said it, 2016, in December, he said, I'm not giving you guys any favor, it is your right. I'm not granting you guys any favor, it is your right. I'm not doing you a favor, so don't thank me.
Yeah.
And so
it's long overdue.
It's long overdue. So when he lost the election, 2016 end in December, new government comes in, Nana Akufo-Addo, 2017. I went to Madam Botry because I said, this is finished now. Will another government come in? And then they tend to not support what another one has done.
Yeah.
But to Nana Akufo-Addo's credit, Madam Botry said then, we are a bigger diaspora affairs advocate government than even our predecessor. And then to her credit, that was 2017. We in 2019, after the year of return, in which Nana Akufo-Addo encouraged people from the West diasporans, people of African descent, to come home. He didn't say come home to tour. Now he said that we said come home to live and to participate.
Come home.
Come home. That Ghana is your home. We are kith and kin. We're brothers and sisters. So come home. And so many people heard that call. It was heralded by the president. And for some of us who it resonated because we were already feeling like we want to come home anyway. So when he made that, it encouraged more of us to want to come home. So in 2019, November 26, after a lot of hard work and a lot of collaboration with the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President, Minister of Interior, we were granted 120. We were promised 252, by the way. And on that day, for whatever reason, some people's name was not on it, was not on the list. So we were shortchanged. But on that day, Nana Akufo-Addo, President Nana Akufo-Addo, gave 126 certificate representing our citizenship. And so we were ecstatic that day because I don't think it's on that level. That number is way more out of proportion to the 34 that occurred 3 years ago. And to President Muhammad's credit, when we got 34, he was surprised. He thought there was more of us here, but people did not trust the process at that time. It would never happen. Why did they want to give us citizenship? Is it a trick? They didn't trust it. When it happened, a lot of them hit themselves in the head. Oh, I wish I'd signed up. Right? So when 2019 came around, many of those who missed the opportunity then, they now applied. And again, it should have been 200 and odd, and we're still waiting for the rest to come through to be given their citizenship. So we're asking the president to fulfill his promise and giving those who were left off the list that he already signed off on through executive order.
So what have you done about it since that time that you had is 120 that you were given instead of
126.
126 that you were given instead of 200 and something? Yeah, so what have you done about it? But I think you guys are more than 200 and something.
Oh, there's thousands of us here, but this dispensation, the granting of citizenship, Ghana citizenship, is done under the right to return principle. So I want to explain that a little bit. So it's a right to return is a principle under international law that states that you have a right to return or go back to your land of origin, whether you left because of famine, flood, war, other national disasters, or by descent. If you came there because you're a descendant of, you have a right to return. So that's how we fall under that principle. many of us came over there because our ancestors were taken from
want
here.
to return
yes, we want to come back home, so we have the right to return.
Yeah.
We should not have to jump through hoops or beg anybody or apply for refugee status or be seen as foreigners. It's your right. It's all right. Your ancestors, we've come home. We're one people. So thank goodness again to President Mahama and President Nana Akufo-Addo. They were receptive, and it's a bipartisan issue. Both parties, both governments see it fit to encourage us to come home.
To come home. Yeah.
Yes. So he signed an executive order, and then, like I said, it was about 200 people, and there was some bureaucratic mishap that allowed some of us not to be on it. Yes. But they did say that they would continue, and those that were left off will be added. It hasn't happened yet since 2019. We're now going 2021, and we're calling them to be true to their words, because many of them, for example, some husband and wife, they applied at the same time. When we made the call in 2019 certificate, the husband got his name was on the list, the wife was left off. And it's another case, the wife was on it, the husband was left off. So it was a bureaucratic mix-up. They just corrected. The president signed executive order, so it has to be honored, and we're still waiting for that to occur. And we don't want it till he leaves office. We believe he was genuine. He went around the world. And
I think he's going to do it. I don't know much, but I think it's about politics. But I think I think he's going to.
Yes. Let me say it for the record. They have shown a willingness, a readiness to do it, as demonstrated by all the conversations we've had, the discussions, and the movement he created an Office of Diaspora Affairs of the President to deal with mostly Ghanaians from the diaspora, but also people of African descent. So if we have any issues, we can go to them. It's just that the law hasn't been changed. We're still operating under the old immigration laws. There's no provisions to welcome us. We're still treated as foreigners. So as if you're coming from Russia or China, you apply for a visa, and then so there's no provision. So what we've done since then, again in 2015, the diaspora, the Foreign Affairs Ministry, they were conducting some meetings around the world to get the input of Ghanaian diasporans. If you're in Belgium or in Canada, they would have to get feedback, because the diasporans form a major part of their constituency. So, but then there was a footnote: who is a bigger diaspora? Those who were taken away historically. We are more fit that definition of diasporans, other than ones who left maybe in the 50s or 60s for economic reasons, and I don't blame them. We're seeking better opportunities, and so we were a footnote. So they asked us to come to a meeting and express what is it that we want. So we told them we want to return. We want the laws changed. We want provisions to facilitate our return in terms of make it a lesser time required for us to be here before we can apply for citizenship. If we're doing business, don't treat us as foreigners. Make the capital requirement less. If we're going to bring machineries, allow duty-free access and all these things, incentives for us to come home.
Just like those who went out for economical reason or whatever, the same right.
The same rights as we're Ghanaians now. And so there's a document called the Diaspora Engagement Policy, which was written to help to talk about how we can facilitate the diasporans. First, the Ghanaian diasporans, and then the people of African descent. So we're like a footnote. We're like category B, but still. So that document was still submitted by a consultancy group to the government. This is now President Akufo-Addo's government, and they're working on it. I think now they're turning something called the Homeland Return Act. They're working on it, but it hasn't been enacted. So until it does, we're still treated as if we're immigrants coming home. When you get here, you can't open up a bank account. If you have a visa and your visa expired, you need to go back, and there's money. You're penalized for the amount of time which you didn't do it on time. if you stay in the country too long, you can be considered, you become illegal. You're an illegal alien, and you're still subject to deportation. It doesn't happen, but you're still, because you're a foreigner. So you're subject to the laws of the land. So we're not treated as Ghanaians or kith and kins or brothers and sisters or as your grandparents who have returned home. We're not treated as that, and that's important. That has to change.
Okay, so yeah, go. The thing is, the passport, the citizenship. There's people who lives in, because it could happen that some of our African descendants have been here for a long time, but they don't know how to go about it, or they haven't applied for it. These people have to apply before they get the certificate, like the 126 that they got. Did they apply for it first?
So, unfortunately, the law has not changed. The law of the land did not change to accommodate people from the diaspora to get citizenship. The law still says that if you're a citizen, there's ABC ways you can get it. For example, you marry a Ghanaian, a wife, you can apply after a certain time. You can, if you have come and you spend a certain amount of money as a business investor, you can get it. But we are talking about an invitation from the government using the principle of the right of return to come home. And it's under that principle where people who are here, you have to, first criteria is you must be living in Ghana. That's the first thing. That's the number one criteria, live in Ghana. And when the government make it a call out to those people, that those who are living here and you want to get your citizenship, as they did in 2016 under former President Mahama, and as they did in 2019 under President Kufuor, they made a decision, and through executive order of the president, right? It wasn't voted on, it was discretionary. In either case, the president decided it's something he wanted to do to bypass all the parliamentary process, and it's legal, it's binding. So using that, so no process currently exists. It happened in 2016, 3 years later it happened again, and I'm going to say this on camera, it was by luck. It was not through planning or through a policy change. We're now looking to have another invitation or call out from the president's office, as they're saying. They want those who did not get it, those who were left off, the 252, those who were out of the country at the time, they want to establish this process this year for them to apply. So you would contact the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President to know more about the time period for when they think they will make that call out. When they make that call out, you submit your names, it goes into a database, and then they will tell you, they will call you for an interview. Based on the interview, for example, ask you, how long have you living here? If you just came off the Kotoko in the last week, you really don't qualify. Right? But if you've been living here for a while, you have business or land, family, you're making contributions, an interview process that will come out, and then they'll tell you further, you go get your fingerprint, and then they'll have likely a ceremony that's how it was done the last 6 years. So based on the precedents, that's how the next wave is expected to make it until they change the law. And I understand that they have something called the Homeland Return, which will address the issue of our migration, make it easier, but again, it's on the books. But until then, just contact the office of the president, whether you're here now or if you're even outside. Because some people are outside, they were living and they go back and forth. They can still qualify. They have a house, land, children, the business. You can still make that contact here. If they have houses and everything, or farming or whatever they are doing. If you had a presence here, because sometimes it's difficult, so people go back to take care of business, get money due before they can't stay here, especially if you're considered a foreigner, right? So those people, you make the call out, say, listen, I was living in Ghana. There's no one lady who was living here for 10 years. She had to leave and go back, and now she's back again. She has children here. So contact the Office of Diaspora Affairs, Office of the President, and find out when they will make that next move or push to facilitate people from diaspora. Because after all, you are making that call, return home. So if you're going to tell us to return home, make it so you can't invite somebody and don't have provision for them to live or to stay and be comfortable and to be legal here.
How many years do you have to live here before you be considered as a before you be given the certificate, or before you qualify? How many years do you have to live in Ghana before you qualify? Because in some countries are 5 years, some are 3 years, in the other part of the world. But in Ghana, how many years? Because I think you know more than even what I know. Yeah. How many years? Because I don't have that problem.
Yeah. Again, because it's not law, I can't give you a specific year. It was discretionary, and discretion was that if you're living here for anywhere like 6 months to a year and beyond, you have a right. Because again, it's not something that we are doing you a favor. If you express an interest, a desire to come back home, even if it's for 1 month, you should have that right. For example, there's a lady I know who she's a retired police officer. She's sure. She quit her job, retired, pension. She said, I'm not going back to America. Why should she have to wait for 6 months or a year? She's already established that she wants to live here. So if someone shows that they are leave everything behind, family, friends, they should have the right to return. You shouldn't have to have a waiting period. Okay. So the law has to be changed to accommodate your invitation for us to come home.
So at the moment, the question again, at the moment, how many years? The law hasn't changed yet. So how many years you have to live here before you
again, so I want to be clear. There's no established year.
Okay.
What happened in 2016 and in 2019, you had people who were here for 30 years who got it. You had people who came even 6 months and got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people were here for 30 years and they didn't have citizenship?
Because they didn't apply for it under the regular way.
Yes, yeah,
but when the right of return came, that inspired people to come out. So it's under the right to return principle that people are now coming, okay, I'm an African.
Yeah.
I don't want to get it the way the Lebanese got it, Chinese got it. I want to get it because I've returned home.
African, yeah.
So under that,
through my right.
Yeah. The presidents, both President Nana Akufo-Addo and President John Mahama, made it welcoming and made it their decision, and rightly so, to have people who want to come home. Because again, not everybody wants to go home. Right?
That's true.
Right? Everybody still think, oh, Africa, I'm not going there. It's a greener pastures here, right? They're still under that illusion. But for those who want to, and those who already are here, right? There's some, I know people here have 12 children. They've been here for 30 years, 40 years or more.
Yeah, when you say that you are here 20 years, then I can see that you are more Ghanaian than me.
Thank you.
You are more Ghanaian. No, that's true. You are more Ghanaian than me.
It's a compliment.
Yeah.
And it's a recognition that I have several passports. I have a Jamaican passport. I have a Canadian, American passport, and my Ghana passport is the one I walk around with. Yeah. And I'm telling thanks to the presidents, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my guidance because of the president. I did the right thing, starting with Nana Kwame Nkrumah, and these other presidents have supported him in that. And it's a right move. It's a wise move, because were we able to utilize the resources, the tremendous material resources and human resource of the diaspora, and match it or immerse it or with the potential here with Ghanaians and with Africans, you don't need to borrow no money from China, no money from Europe. You don't need no skills. We have everything within this family. So it's a bold move, it's a wise move. Just in the 2019 alone, just through the invitation, whether it was motivated by tourism or just by numbers, Ghana got over to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Just, and that's,
close to the economy.
Yes, you could 100 times that, were you to make it more welcoming and more easy for people. Because a lot of people want to come home. They want to come and do business. They want to come and train.
I was about to ask you this. Those who want to come, those who lives here, first, those who lives here, like you guys, like you and other people that we met at the 126 meeting, some of them have their own businesses that employ Ghanaians. Or if I say Ghana, we are Ghanaians. Let me reframe it.
I like that.
Those who are here we are from the diaspora that came here, did some of them have businesses that employed the locals? Let me put it this way.
Most of the 126, I know many of them, they're here, they have businesses, they're doing maybe farming, and in doing their farming, their business, they employ Ghanaians. Even if you're building a house, you're required to use artisans.
I do the same
Right,
thing.
so you're providing your carpenter, your masons, they're Ghanaians. So you're providing even someone looking after your,
they are
your
locals,
children.
because we are all Ghanaians. They are locals.
Yeah. So you are utilizing the jobs are not easy to find in Ghana. So when you're coming and you one activity such as building your home, you can generate employment for so many other people, your plumbers and the people who carry the water.
Are some people in California or in America that want to come home and establish business here? Are some of them, did you receive calls, or did some people talk to you how they want to come here, and what do you think the government have to do to get all those people around?
That's a great question, and I'm so glad you brought it up. I know many people who want to invest in Ghana, and not just invest small change, they want to invest millions. They want to come home, I know doctors who want to come and build hospitals or clinics, because that's what they're doing in the West. They want to come here. And I'll give you one example. Dr. Baruti.
Yeah, Maruni. Yeah.
Dr. Baruti, he's a doctor out of Lansing, Michigan. And for years, he's been coming back and forth for about 20, 25, 30 years. He wanted to build a state-of-the-art hospital in Ghana. He's a specialist in the U.S. He's been coming back and forth. He has a house in Pram Pram, a ranch in Pram Pram, and he applied for his license to become a doctor. Remember, a 30-year-old doctor. He was denied his license here.
Here in Ghana?
In Ghana, but he kept coming. And I've been with him to meet Mr. Babio, who's the director for the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President, to say this is a case of a man who wants to come and build a hospital, right? State of the art, where nobody will need to go outside to seek medical treatment, because this is going to be the top of the notch. He's going to invite other doctors. He did not get it. I won't go into the reasons why, but he didn't get it. It's not because of his qualification, but it frustrated him. Remember, Ghana was his heart. So he went to Sierra Leone as an example. He went to Sierra Leone because he traced his roots, the Mende roots, on his DNA test. So he's Mende, he went there. Within 1 week, he was able to get his certificate to practice medicine there. Not only that, they gave him 50 acres of land to be able to build a hospital there. And
so Ghana lost
Ghana loses that, and Ghana continues to do that many times. We don't know, and maybe the president doesn't know at the top what's going on, but many times we approach ministers, so we have someone want to come and build. I had a friend, Wayne Cummings, sorry to call names, who wanted to build a glass factory. All our glass is manufactured. We don't manufacture it here. We have to import it from outside, import from India. He wanted to build a glass factory here. He got duped out of $100,000, and he said, you know what, I'm not coming to Ghana again. I won't take.
He got duped?
He got duped.
From who?
From he was doing business.
Local Ghanaians?
No, these are GRA. It was Ghana Railway, Ghana Railway. He was doing scrap metal at the time, so he was supposed to export the scrap metal from here, in this case to China, and he gave $100,000 to someone who represented the GRA.
GRA?
What happened was, he was not told at the time that there was a moratorium or a stoppage. You were not allowed to import scrap metal at the time. They didn't tell him. They took his money. Then when he bought all the scrap metals from the railway lines that were cutting up, they said, oh, you can't take it out. So his money was frozen. Yes, it happens all the time. People will tell you stories about this. And then he said, you know what? I said, why don't you go to court and try and get your money? He said, you know what, y'all? I won't throw good money after bad. This is Ghana. I'll go to court. I will lose. I'm not Ghanaian. It'll favor those guys because they're in the system. But I tell you what, I will not come back to Ghana. And this is a guy who had business in 4 countries, 2 businesses in China, in the US, and in Jamaica, doing quite well. And he wanted to come and invest here. So this happens a lot. People are calling all the time. Right now, I know people want to come and have do agriculture, want to bring harvesters and other farming equipment. Machines, want to come build a factory. I know someone wants to build a chocolate factory. This guy is one of the 6 best chocolatiers in the world. Currently he has a business in Maryland, and he gets his supply from Dominican Republic. He's one of the best. He says Ghana should not be just giving away their chocolate outside. No. We should build it here where everybody comes. He says, I do the best chocolates. You haven't seen chocolate. I want to build a factory here so the Ghanaians can provide money to the farmers, because right now the farmers are shortchanged. They don't get enough value for what they grow.
That's true.
Give them a proper amount of money so they can send their children to school, build their homes, build better roads, infrastructure, and at the same time provide jobs for the youths so that they don't have to go outside, go work in Cadbury or other.
I don't understand.
So many people all the time, constantly I'm getting people, not only people in business, people, they're pensioners. People who I've gone to school with. I have a couple of professor friends. They're now my age. I'm 59, going to 60, retirement age. They want to leave North America, and they want to come to Ghana. So if they sell their $500,000 home or their $1 million homes, and they have a check coming in every month, that's foreign exchange earnings coming to Ghana.
That's true.
And if you have 1,000 people like this every month, they get money coming. What do you think will happen to the Ghana economy?
Boom.
So you need to be able to attract these key demographics of people who can benefit the country by returning home with their material resources, money, but also their brain resources, the physical, the human resources.
That's true.
Many of them just want to come and teach Ghanaian youth. I have a friend, he's one of the best software engineer in the world. And I know that because I know of stuff he did in Canada and in the US. He worked for major companies and he was doing things that we're now doing. Like video conferencing, he was doing that 20 years ago. He made a machine, you have telephone booths where you can go and put your 25 cents in.
I know.
He, back in 1998, was creating video booths. This is before these smartphones were out. To be able, you can go put a coin in and you can see who you're talking to. Yeah, there's a friend of mine. He now is in Kenya, right? But what he says, well, all I want to do is come to Ghana to teach the youth what I know. I don't even want to make a lot of money. I just want to pass this information on. So we lose us, not just the money. They come home and you take our tourist dollars. So
that guy is in Kenya now.
He's in Kenya.
Is he still willing to come to
Yes,
Ghana?
he is. I spoke to his wife the other day. They're doing, they're trying to set up some business with the Kenya government and Tanzania government to train university students. But he's one of the first ones that came. Remember I told you we were 3? We came to Ghana. But he left and went to...
Oh, yeah. You told me you were 3,
yeah. And you know what? People have a right to go whatever African country they want to, because Africa belongs to all of us.
Yeah.
But because of... I think President Kwame Nkrumah's initial welcome and his vision for Africa, and it's also an English-speaking country, many of us gravitate. Also, Ghanaians, the way Ghanaians are, they are welcoming, beautiful people. I'm gonna tell you, they will win you over in a second. So because of all those reasons, and then the political climate is also very stable, and we feel that Ghana could take advantage of that, those work that was done by our predecessors to welcome. A lot of qualified, eligible, talented, wealthy people, African descent, will come to Ghana.
What do you think Ghanaians are afraid of not allowing those people? What do you think so? Do you think Ghanaians are afraid because there will be also criminals or something like this coming in the system? Or, because you see, what the Ghanaian youth also sees in TV and all those things also, I think, discourage them. If I say it's in this way, or let's say the media also sometimes discourage them. But for me, I live in the West, and I know it's not what we saw in TV is what is happening there. Although there's criminals everywhere. Ghana here, there's a lot of criminals, armed robbers, and that's the same thing all over in the world. What do you think Ghanaians are afraid? Why are they not embracing this opportunity?
I believe that the Ghanaians at the grassroots levels are welcoming of people from diaspora. When we meet each other in the village, we embrace. They embrace us, we embrace them. I don't see them discriminating against us. I think we may not speak the language the right way, they'll try to teach us. I think at the grassroots level, and I think the majority of Ghanaians welcome us. I think where you see the resistance is the same where Ghanaians who left here for economic reasons in maybe the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they want to come home, they become a threat to the educated class, the ones who are in positions. They feel like if they went outside and come back now, and they're doctors and they're engineers, they will take our jobs. Not the grassroots. I don't think the grassroots are threatened. I think it's those ones who are in positions now, they feel that we'll be competing with them for jobs.
But they're not coming to take their jobs. They are rather coming to increase it.
You think that, but it's like In Jamaica, it's the same thing. They are threatened by those who left Jamaica and went outside, so they don't give us voting rights, right? So we can't. We could.
Do you think Africans, we are our own enemies?
We are our own enemies, but we're also our own best friends. There's a dichotomy, and it's in every race. I don't want to tell people that blacks are worse than any others. We're not. You will meet black people who will help you. They don't know you. They'll give you food. They'll give you money. And you'll find others who will try to rob you, steal your bad mouth. It happens in every race. And we need to remind ourselves that. Because you have an experience with a Ghanaian or an African American and it's bad, you don't extrapolate and say all of them are like that. We have to resist that because you have some really good people. I could leave my phone in a taxi and a taxi driver will come and say, hey, you left your phone, here's your phone. And it's happened a lot. And you have others who will find your phone and no. Yeah, it's just human. Yeah. So it's no. I believe the majority of Ghanaians are welcoming, and if they were educated more as to the benefits that we bring and the potential to the greater population, I think then that will make them even more welcoming and even more, it will benefit the country a lot better.
Okay, what advice do you have for the youth that are going through backdoor? There's a lot of African youths that are going through backdoor, and I think you live in Ghana here, you know about what happened just before December, our African queens, the African ladies that traveled through the Arab land, and I mean, they went through Arab land and they were being deported and some were maltreated and so. What advice do you have for them?
The advice I have is first for the leaders, the rulers of the country. You have to create opportunities for training and education for the children to want to stay. If not, you can't blame the African youth for wanting to seek a better. Because in our country, we have situations where they graduate from East Legon and they can't find jobs. What do you want them to do? And then they can't start a family and all these things. So I don't blame, I put the question to our leaders, the politicians, the lawmakers, the business people. Let us create an environment that will make our youths, our children want to stay in Ghana and benefit from it. And I'll give you one example. There's a brother here in Mampong where I live. Never left Ghana, and he's a STEM educator, science, technology, engineering, math. Which, as you know, these robotics, these are the way of the future, right? As far as what other countries are teaching their children, India, China. This is the way robotics is taking over. He entered the international competition 3 years ago and became number one. Number one in the world. He beat out the US, China, Canada, India. This guy from the school in Mampong, 6 girls, went to competition. And what they don't know that the boys entered the competition, but they came 6. So Ghana was well represented. This guy just needs support of the government, educators, so that he stays here. And don't take his skills outside to Saudi Arabia or China, because they will grab him up in a second, right? Yeah. And so again, my question is, what do you tell the youth? I said, tell the leaders to do enough to make the children want to say, support ongoing successful programs, make education free, because on the other side, it's free for the most part. Yeah. Make it available so everybody can go to school and training, and welcome people from the diaspora who have these skills who want to train. Not only people from the diaspora, Ghanaians who left outside who want to return. Make it easier for all of us to come home and thrive in an environment where we can help each other.
And what advice, the last one is the advice for what are you going to tell your people who want to come and invest here, or the youth that still don't think that Africa is the right place to go? What are you going to tell them, people in diaspora?
That's a good question. And if I'm to be honest, I have to be honest.
I want you to be honest.
Yeah. Years ago, when I first came, I was telling everybody, come home, come home, come home. Right? Come on, this is God, this is heaven. And having gone through several challenges, I am not so quick to tell people to come home. It's not for everybody. And this is the reason why. You could come here with the best intention, but the system here can frustrate you because of corruption, the way things are done. I know every country has corruption, but the way things are done here in terms of business transactions is not the same as
what we know over there.
Developed countries and the U.S. You could be the president of a country over there, and if you steal, you can go to jail.
That's true.
It happens all the even in China. It's not doesn't happen here. And I'll give you one example to support what I'm saying. We have people here who a brother came, he bought land. He wants to build apartment complexes to address the home home shortage. And he has his paperwork. Somebody came, broke down his walls, and said that he should not be building his land. And he said, no, here's my site plan, here's my documentation, everything's legal. And it was found that it was legal. But this guy came with his land guards and they broke it down. So he went to the police station. Police station came out, they said it's a court matter. He went to the municipal assembly who gave him the authorization to build the structure on the land. He had to go to court. When he went to court, they ruled that he could build up the structure. But because the guy who broke the land is influential in the area, broke the wall in the area, he has the police in his pockets, he has the district assembly in pockets. The guy can't. He broke it down again.
He broke it down.
Yeah. So my friend said to me, "Listen, okay, someone can do you wrong, but where we're from, the law can take its course. You go to the courts and you get justice. Here, there's no justice. So it can be frustrating. Not in all cases, but in many cases, the way things are done on that side that you're used to, it's not the same here. So it has to be an adjustment. You do not come here thinking that everybody is going to have your best interest. Some people are hungry. They will try and get what you have. Land acquisition is one of those areas where you have to be careful. So and then what happens when you give money for land, and then the person tells you that, oh, that land was sold already. You go to court, and then you're in court for 18 years, 20 years. It doesn't do you no justice. So you have to be careful. It's not for everybody. You have to come with an open mind, not think that everybody here has your best interest at heart. So I'd be very careful now. I would suggest that you come here for a bit, reside here for a while, get to know the place before you make a unilateral move or one-time move. But for those who are firm in their beliefs for whatever reason, because of the racial climate or political climate in the West, or it's time to come home, I believe there's a kind of renaissance, an awakening happening around our African world. People are now waking up that Africa is the best place to be. For those, you're sure and you want to come home, it's in your bones, then come on home. Come on home, but practice common sense. Don't give your money to somebody you don't know.
No, that's true.
You wouldn't do it in Detroit. Why are you going to come and do it here? Don't just give land that you've never seen, money for land you've never seen. So use common sense when you in your business and your land acquisition. That's all. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Yao, and I'm very happy and I'm very honored for your invitation. And I think we have said a lot, and I think people outside there will also watch the video and educate themselves, and as we plan here to educate them. So thank you again. Thank you very much,
thank you,
my
King.
brother. And
thank you,
and,
Ibrahim.
As brother was saying, that everyone that want to come in the last conversation, it's free for you to come, but come first and see. Come and spend a couple of times here before you decide to move completely into this place. But Ghana is still free. It's free. I think there's more good than harm in Ghana. It's not because I was born here, that's what I'm saying, but I also live in diaspora for so many years. But I think Ghana is free. It's free. You need to come and study, because sometimes even they still have some people, rough people around, which rough people in all over the world. So guys, please like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to press the notification bell, so any video that comes out, you see your youngest old boy in town. Thank you guys,
and I love you all. Peace.
Hey!